It is all fun, right? We are sitting on a gold mine, and it looks like there are some people interested in the new Soul Train, American Soul, up next.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Hey! Okay, what's up, y'all? Welcome to American Soul, the Soul Train experience. My voice is super deep, so I can't do it like my beautiful co-host, but I am your girl, Nakia Monet, and I am joined by a panel of beautiful ladies.
Hey guys, I'm Carmen. Happy to be here with you all as always.
Yes, guys, and I am El Marie.
And our soul sister Drew's not here, but she will be back as soon as she can.
And Shawna.
And Shawna. Sorry, Shawna girl. Shawna. So Shawna and Drew not here, so they will be back. So our girl Carmen is holding it down for the two ladies. She's kind of like our little soul sister that just pops in.
Sister.
Because we do another show together, Black Ink Chicago.
Yes, we do.
So we kind of just creep on over here. So shout out to Shawna, shout out to Drew. What a really cool show. What did you guys think about this episode?
Every time I get to fill in, I fall in love with this show more and more. Yeah. I had to hold back tears. We didn't have to hide tears from our guests this week, so I kind of let them flow. But it was just so good.
Yeah. It's a very good show.
The storylines, it's like, it's just good.
It's just good TV.
And it flows well because it's one of those shows like they actually kind of do have a lot going on with all the different characters, but it flows so well.
Yes.
You don't mind
It's a really good show. The writers are good. The music, it's nostalgic. Mm-hmm. And like you said, El Marie, we're learning about not just Dawn, but we're learning about the people behind Soul Train.
Yes.
The producers, the writers. We're hearing nostalgic names like Dick Clark. Mm-hmm. We're learning about dancers, their families, their moms and dads.
You know what I'm realizing about this show? The more I watch it, the more I understand why Soul Train was necessary for the people, for the culture, because it was such a relief from the tension and everything that everybody was going through.
Yeah.
When we spoke about the void last week, of filling in the void, Soul Train kind of did that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It was a part of the joy, that came from our pain.
Yeah. It's pretty cool, and I think a lot of people always say, like, damn, I wonder why did Soul Train last this long? Mm-hmm. Because it went into the 2000s. And I think with this show, we get to see the type of businessman that Don Cornelius was and how he fought for us, the audience. And though Don isn't here, he left a legacy behind for us, his kids. Yeah. And to know that his kids are executive producing on is like, bravo to BET.
And intentionally. He did it intentionally. Like, we got to see this week, he didn't sell out.
Yeah, that's loving. That's amazing. Before we get into it, we do have a segment for you guys like we had last week. It's called the Soul Spotlight, where we bring a spotlight to people who have been on Soul Train. And what this show does, we get to meet different characters, and we got to meet someone else who is very famous. So we got a little Soul Spotlight for you guys. All right, kids, let's get into it. So we open up the show with Mr. Don Cornelius, who is a badass and all and meaning, fashion, the way he carries himself and everything. Like, he's just a total badass.
Who knew?
He can come off mean, but you kind of respect Don Cornelius in a way.
To be honest, I watch it and I'm getting sad because I'm like, but he's not here. Yeah. And also to know like that he took himself out. It's like, you can see how all this pressure was building up on him, but it's like, oh man, thank you. You know what I mean? It's like that Don Cornelius, thank you. I know you're in heaven somewhere. You can hear that.
What a powerful ancestor to have. Yeah. Like, and I'm so sad that he isn't here, and I'm so sad that it got to him in the way that it did. Right. And I'm sure we'll learn more about how as the story goes on. But man, what he did for the culture.
Yeah. He laid the foundation, and the fact that this is 1972 and he's been thinking about us in 2019, which is crazy to say because of Don Cornelius, we have the Soul Train we have Soul Train, and how deep rooted that show was to go into the 2000s. That still blows my mind. But during the show, we get to see Don's trials and tribulations. Mm-hmm. We get to see Don and his messy relationships.
His little temptations.
Yeah, I'm getting a little messy here and now. Miss DeJohnette. I don't know how I quite feel about her. We get to see her and Don's relationship. It's a personal relationship and it's a business relationship. Do you guys think, working in a professional atmosphere, do you think having a personal relationship is professional? Do you think that can get messy as we kind of see down the line?
It can definitely get messy.
Oh, it can get messy.
Oh, man.
It could get messy.
It get hella messy. I mean, he shouldn't be having those relationships.
DeJohnette is the executive.
Yes.
Ooh, child. Ooh, Chile. She was, built to last in a testosterone-based business.
Yeah.
And she learned how to play the game like a man. Yeah. And that's all I can say about sis. I cringe like, Dawn, no, I don't want you cheating on your wife, but I know it's a part of the game.
It's a lot. It's a lot, but what I do like about her character, as you said, this is the 70s. This is not 2019. So we still see things about like body shaming and a woman being in the business where it's all men. Yeah. So you see someone who has balls. She has balls, legit, where she doesn't take any messages and play any games. And I think Don thought he can get into bed with her, no pun intended, on a business side. But we can see that, you know, he's in LA and I think he's catching feelings a little bit. And she's like, we're just having fun.
And I think she's like actually mastered the art of playing the game like a man using her feminine charm.
Oh, she's good at it.
Oh, she's good.
I like her.
She slipped him right back into his place. And then when she slid across the window with the other guy, and you could just see the silhouettes, I was like, oh.
I'm like, okay, Miss Tijanette. Yes. But my favorite line, she's like, it's just fun, right? I'm like, I'm going to start using that line. I don't have the luxury to be like Miss Tijanette, but
I was like, wow, she's time enough for him.
Yeah, she's a boss, but he's married. So Dawn shouldn't be doing that. But before we go further, we do have a message to the fans from us.
Yes, we do. Hey, guys. So before we move on to our next topic, like Kiki said, we just wanted to thank you guys for making us the ESPN of TV talk and for continuing to help us grow. But we need your help for that. So if you're on YouTube right now, if you're watching us, not listening, make sure you hit that thumbs up button and subscribe. And if you are listening to us on iTunes, make sure you give us 5 stars and also check us out on Spotify. But no matter where you are, please leave us a comment so you can get involved in the conversation, and we will shout you guys out, even if it's after the show or during a live feed. So make sure you leave that comment. And being a part of AfterBuzz has meant so much to all of us, and we truly appreciate you guys' support and doing what we love. So don't forget to tell your friends about all of our shows, and make sure you join us here next week.
Yes, thank you. We love you guys, and thank you guys for being in the comments and leaving us love and leaving us tidbits and facts and teaching us some things about Soul Train that we may not know. Someone left a really cool comment, and he, because you know, last week we highlighted the dancers, and we had a guest last week, which was pretty awesome. But he was like, if you guys can try to get some of the dancers on there, and he named some of them. So that's something we're going to definitely try to work on and try to get in contact with them. But I think it's cool, again, like we said, and if you guys don't know, BET highlighted some of the original dancers, and they have a kind of like a little short docuseries. So if you want to get to know the dancers, make sure you guys head to BET.
You know what? God works in mysterious ways. I found out that one of the original dancers lives in my building.
What?
I'm going to work on it.
Okay.
Wow. Even if I'm not here for it, I'm going to work on it.
Thank you. Yes. Look at God. See what I'm saying? Awesome. That's why I said shout out to the fans, and thank you guys for leaving comments because of that. And thank you guys for putting on some things we may not know. Some of the dancers are still here in LA, and they're still working, and they're still busy, booked and blessed. Thank you, Carmen. Yes. Shout out to that.
And just real quick, I have the live feed up. So if you guys are watching us on YouTube, make sure you guys slide in with your comments, questions about this episode.
Yes. Sorry.
We got 5 people in there right now.
Just always want to do a 70s dance.
Combo.
Speaking about not being lucky, Gerald Ames. Gerald Ames is up to no doggone good. We see that, you know, in the past episodes, Gerald Ames was doing some shady-ish, killing people, kidnapping people, putting people in trunks and money, and it looks like someone is looking for Gerald Ames. And at first, we're not quite sure what's happening. Because a guy approaches him and says, I'm a detective and I'm a cop. And it looks like Gerald finds out that that's not really a cop, and it's the guy who he works for, Herschel, who sent someone to kind of get to know what he's doing. What do you guys think about all that messiness? That's why it's crazy, because this is Soul Train, but we're learning about other things that's happening.
Yeah, like all the like behind the scenes stuff. But I was thrown too, because I'm like, okay, who is he? Like I asked you, I'm like, is this a detective or what?
Right.
And then we learned to see, we were like, oh, because they're looking for the guy that Gerald killed. Like he took him, he had him in the trunk, the guy that was in the trunk, he let him go, but then he did something else, brought him back, so he killed him. So now they're looking for him. Like, where is this guy? And I think it was must have been one of Herschel's men.
Yeah.
So now they're looking for him, and then it's like, oh, you didn't do your job. Like Gerald said, like, I don't miss. So Herschel's guy missed because he didn't get Gerald. He tried to attack him, and Gerald was like, oh, no, not today.
All I know about
Gerald,
I was watching like, wait, who is this? All I know about Gerald is he is not to be played with.
No.
He went and dropped Herschel's package back off to him. Like take your mans. Get your man.
Thank you, come again. Don't try it again.
So at the end, when he's like at the bar with Dawn, and he's asking Dawn like, I guess he's kind of looking for a foot out of that life.
Yeah.
We're like, Don, we don't know if you want this guy around. You know, he's a mess. And then we're like, wait a minute, Don's a whole gangster himself. Like, Don is about that life.
Don's definitely about that life.
They might be a good match.
I mean, they are friends. I guess that's how
maybe
why they're friends.
But we do get to see Herschel's played by the one and only Clifton Powell, who always plays kind of someone bad. And Gerald Ames' character, if those who don't know, he plays on a really cool show called Greenleaf. I'm on the panel for that on AfterBuzz TV, and he plays a pastor. But he plays a pastor that you don't also want to mess with. So that's why I love seeing him in this character, because it's like he's good at playing bad roles. So I'm interested to see the relationship, because I think he did get nervous knowing that Herschel sent someone to pretty much kill him. The guy missed. And I think he was like, okay, I think I need to get out of this world and life and figure something out. He has a good bar going on, so I don't know why he just doesn't take care of that.
It's time to like slide out of that. Sometimes I guess you have to, play with the devil, I guess, a little bit when you're trying to get started, especially for Black people at that time. Loans were not easy to come by. You know what I mean? So like, if the gangsters got the money, you kind of like have to get in bed with them to get your business started. But it's like now he wants them out of that bed, and into a safer one.
And a safer one.
Wanted to cause Soul Train any trouble, because it's always when you're getting out of the life is when it catches up to you. It's just how it works.
It's always how it is. And this is the beginning stages of Soul Train. So this is something that they don't even know what Soul Train is going to be like in 20 years.
Right.
So this is just like a baby. So like I do get nervous too, where I'm like, though we know the finished product, but we don't know the trials and tribulations that Don and his friends went through. So BT's doing a really good job. Speaking about growth, baby girl Simone's birthday comes up.
Yes.
She turns the big 18, though she's saying she's 21. But baby girl's turning 18, and she gets a lovely present from her mom. It's actually a song by her dad.
Oh my God!
Were we tears?
We were in tears.
Child.
So sentimental.
I felt like
so
I was crying
heartfelt.
when she was crying. She's like, "But is this that?
Yes.
And I was like, "That's from her."
I'm like, Simone, girl, when she says.
Yeah.
That was a really beautiful moment. Because though dad is gone, we still get to see his character around. And we get to see the effects of what the war did to families and what it's still doing to families.
Yes.
And we have Private Barker, who's still in the house. And he's kind of, he's a friend. And the kids are not too happy, especially Kendall. That there's a new man in the house. Dad just died, and he's wearing dad's t-shirt.
Understandable.
Yeah, I want to say, when y'all in that situation, both sides, if you're a mom...
Right.
How are you feeling? If you're Kendall, how are you feeling?
I'm super protective of my mom.
Yeah.
So anybody that comes around my mom already, I'm like, and who are you again? Without Vietnam to worry about, without the pains of Vietnam to worry about, just on a regular day, I'm like, who are you? What do you do?
Right.
I'm giving you I'm ice grilling you. Who are you?
Yeah.
So to understand the loss that they just had, to see a man come walking through your living room that you don't want there, very attractive. You know that he's attractive, so you know what your mom may be thinking, but he's in your dad's shirt. That would have been like the straw that broke the camel's back for me.
Yeah.
Like, take my dad's shirt off now.
Because at first I'm feeling, before he walked by with the shirt on, I'm like, Kendall, you kind of have to like, I understand you're grieving, but at the same time, you kind of have to like ease up on your mom a little bit, because you don't know where she is with it. You know what I mean? But then when he walks through with your dad's shirt on, it's like, oh no, homie.
It's touchy. And it's even if your parents aren't dead, when your parents divorce, you see kids still kind of like, who's this new man or woman? They're not taking the parent's role. And that's because, like, as kids, you're not in the parent's shoes, and you don't understand it till you get actually older, to where moms are gonna just like, look, I'm lonely. I don't think she's looking for a man, but he reminds her of dad. And I think it just feels like the kids, Kendall's 20, 21 right now. Simone just turned 18, so I think it's like, my kids are about to leave the home. They're about to go on a bus tour. I'm here by myself. So it's one of those things where you understand where both of them coming from.
And like you said, he reminds her of him.
Yeah.
So even take away from, like, it may not be a lonely thing. It's just like, I'm not ready to let go yet. I'm not ready to face the fact that he's gone, and you remind me of him, so I can hold on to you for a little while and still feel like I have him.
He's filling a void. It's so touchy, because this is technically supposed to be like maybe 5 or 6 weeks after they find out.
Right.
It's a little too soon.
It's too soon.
Like, those kids just lost their dad. Yeah. And I understand.
But you know what? I was about to say, it's not like she went on a date. This
it's true.
He knocked on the door. So it's one of those things where he's like, I came to see your husband, and I would love to stay and protect you. So like I look at it like she didn't go on a date.
Yeah, but he's living in the house.
In the basement. I mean, the basement. The garage.
But
yeah. I think, I think because, people deal with death many different ways. And I think, and he's just not a regular man. He fought with her husband. And I think that's what it is. I think he's like, I came to see him. I came to talk to him. And then them dudes just broke into her house. Like, it's a lot of things, I think.
And he doesn't even feel worthy. He said it himself, like, I feel responsible. Like, I wanted to, like, let him know that I had messed up.
Yeah. And he's having visions, you know what I'm saying? And he's talking to her husband. And I think he feels like you said, he has to protect. And she's nervous because the house just got robbed. This is the 70s. So I think it's a lot of, I don't think she's, like, intentionally looking for a man. I think it may turn into that.
Yeah.
But I think she just needs a shoulder to cry right now.
And that protection.
Yeah. And he's a good looking man to cry on the shoulder with his shirt off.
When he took the shirt off, I was like, kids, you just made it worse.
I was like, God damn it, Kendall. And now I'm the mom. I'm like, well, shit. Keep the shirt off. Sorry. I'm sorry. I was speaking about something that's not worse. We got to meet a little cutie patootie, Raven, real life Raven Goodwin. She plays a new dancer called Violet Sims. And we get to meet her because that girl, I don't know her name, the wretched girl Flo, who's so mean. They hold a fake auditions in the parking lot and they body shame Violet.
Yes, they did.
And Miss Violet is super confident and she knows what she wants. And she kind of meets a friend in Miss Tessa.
Yes.
How did you guys feel about seeing her curvy girl coming on, feeling confident, and then Tessa kind of taking her under her wing?
I loved it.
Yeah.
And it's just so sad because you see this personality type, the young dancer with the cornrows and the Flo. You see this personality type so much in these competitive fields where it's like, you are beautiful, you are talented, and yet you still want to find a way to make the next person not be proud and happy and aspiring like you are. And it's sad that thing runs through our people, that like you can't be happy for yourself and someone else at the same time. And we've all experienced that where it's like somebody wants you to feel bad about how great you are.
Yeah.
And
Which
it's
is
like,
crazy.
Why? You're great.
Yeah.
You're great.
We're all
I'm
great.
And I'm like, damn, there it is.
There's room for everybody.
Yeah, and I just don't understand how someone else's greatness and light dims your light. If we're all doing the same, and it's all competitive when it comes to stuff like that, and I hate it because, we are Black and we're here and we're supposed to be getting and eating together.
Right.
So the fact that we still let stuff like that kind of affect us.
But you know what, it's the times, and like, not to like go all like history lesson on this, but we were taught to compete with each other. We were taught that the majority of the pie is on the other side, and we have this one slice to fight over. So if I'm getting my slice, that must mean you're not getting yours. So I gotta keep mine so that you can't have, because we only have this amount. And then it makes us compete with each other, and it's taught to us, it's in us, and so we have to like heal from that. And it just shows like it's how long it's been there, and it's still here. And we gotta shake it. We have to shake that.
Some of us, I just feel like we gotta do better, and I just feel like someone like Flo, and Flo is everybody. Flo is somebody who is at work, at school.
Yes.
She has been in the past, she's in the future, she's now. She's someone that is everybody that you could possibly think of that's tried to stop you. And something you learn, it's not you, it's their insecurities. And that's what I think Flo is, and I think that's what she's supposed to be in this show.
You know what I loved about Flo? Flo accepted what God had for her that day. She showed up with her $5 ready to audition. She got
Violet.
Sorry.
I was like, Flo.
Not Flo, Violet. She got rescued from that situation by Tessa. She was like, okay, I'm not qualified to be your assistant, but if it means I get to be on the set of Soul Train, like, she played her position.
Right. Yeah.
She made a great relationship with Tessa. I think there's a lot to learn from her character.
Yeah.
She even said it, like, I started my day not a part of Soul Train, but I said I was going to be a part of it, and here I am. And Baby Girl ended up on set and murdering the Soul Train line. So we all have a lesson to learn from her. Like, don't let people kill your spirit.
And I think that's a great thing because Tessa pretty much saw herself in Violet. And she opened up to her and she was like, she showed her picture when she was young and chubby and curvy and round and was like, this was who I was and I'm a dancer. And I love that Violet already had that confidence. She really didn't need, she already had the confidence, and Tessa got her made up, put the clothes on, and Baby Girl got to dance on set, and Mr. Don Cornelius, as he's never really happy about anything, wasn't too happy about that. But what I love about Tessa is because she stood up and she stood up and she talked for our girl Violet, and Tessa said, She standing up for herself, and she said, "I quit."
Like I quit. And I was going to say, like, I actually think Violet helped Tessa more than Tessa helped Violet.
Yes.
Because even though she was showing her that picture of when she was young, I think it was more so that Tessa saw herself a little bit in Violet and realized she had lost herself a little bit, and was like, look at this confidence that this girl has. Look at her demeanor. Like, I need to get that back within myself.
She kind of was like, I'm freeing myself. Like, you know what I'm doing with her? I'm refocusing myself.
Yeah.
And I loved the end when they were sitting at the dinner table together.
Ooh, that food looks so good.
And they both had on red. They were a reflection of each other.
Yeah, and I think you guys are absolutely right. Like, I really think Violet helped her more, where she was like, damn, if this young girl who was bullied, made fun of, came on here leaving with a smile, I need to stand up because I'm bullied and made fun of sometimes at work by my employer. And I feel like I'm interested to see, because Tessa is Don Cornelius' backbone. And I hope he's going to have to do some ass kissing, because she's the queen.
It was a reality check for Don, because he's so tough on her. He always questions her, but she always comes out with a solution. Yeah. So now it's like, you know what, Don? I'm going to retract myself from this situation, and you figure it out.
Yeah. Have a good night.
And he was like, you can tell that it hit him like, he's gagged.
Like, okay. I'm gagging. All
right, then.
Speaking about gagging, we also get to meet the very legendary Little Richard, played by Wayne Brady himself.
Honey.
My favorite thing about American Soul, every week we get to get a new character, someone who's real and who exists. And this one was Little Richard. How'd you guys feel about that?
Sidebar, can we get the Little Richard movie with Wayne Brady playing?
Can we get the movie?
I mean, he killed it.
5 stars, Wayne Brady.
Killed it.
And that's why I'm so happy about, like, this show makes me feel so good, because we have so many talented actors and entertainers, and we've been reduced to reality TV. Not that people aren't doing wonderful things with reality TV, but we need more American Soul on television, because he became Little Richard.
That was amazing. Like you said, like we want the movie.
Yes.
And I think like Little Richard is one of those legends who, you know, he's older now, and I feel like he hasn't gotten his flowers yet. And Little Richard needs his flowers, because Little Richard's been around since James Brown. If you see James Brown, like he's been around. Motown.
He's the king of rock and roll.
Yeah, he almost was before everyone.
Yes.
BT, we need the Little Richard tribute. Yes. We need to give him his flowers while he's here. He deserves to see that. Yes. He built a whole genre. He has a whole genre on his back, and he isn't credited enough.
He isn't.
He isn't. And he deserves that.
I think it was really dope. And Wayne Brady as Little Richard?
Slade.
Come on. It was really cool to see, you know, Little Richard in a different light, where Dawn has to come and pretty much save Little Richard, because there's a young woman who Richard has promised some things. And I was alluding to the fact that I think, you know, he was messing with this chick, and I think he promised her some things that he could not hold up. And she was burning his stuff, kicking him out. And Dawn and the young lady from Right On magazine, which I think is awesome, that I love this show because they mention little things that we kind of grew up with, like soul, the sheen for your hair, and all that other cool stuff. And we get to see really cool commercials. But Right On magazine was doing a story, and Little Richard needed some help to retrieve his ring, Colleen,
special
with some cocaine in it. C for cocaine, Colleen for
Colleen,
cocaine.
honey.
But how'd y'all feel like seeing Little Richard in that position, like kind of seeing like the real, seeing like a vulnerable side of Little Richard, kind of?
Yeah, it was cool to see like a little bit of a vulnerable side, but he was still him.
He was.
You know what I mean? Like, so you're not. It's like he's not one of those character people, because you know some artists do develop and build a character. It's like, oh, you're still you, but like in this moment, and you're also still like a man that gets it in. You know what I mean?
I loved how rock and roll the relationship was between him and that lady, because she's throwing stuff out the window, she's burning stuff, and he's like, oh, she didn't burn the important thing. She loves me. And then at the end, she's like, all right, baby, have a good show. See you later.
I told you she loved me now.
That's that crazy entertainment love. Like,
and
it's
that's
crazy
why
like
I
that.
want a Little Richard story. Because
yes.
I want to.
I could just imagine his.
Oh my god! I feel like Little Richard just came out the womb like playing a piano and like had high heels on and high hair with beautiful kimonos and scarves. Like Little Richard, I think was before his time because he was really colorful. He was bright. He was loud. He was flamboyant. He was beautiful. And I think to have a character like that in our community is something pretty awesome. So
and he was so unapologetic, especially at that time. Like he was like that before your Elton Johns, before your Princes. You had Little Richard. So
I'm loving it. I'm loving this show. I'm loving it.
It's pretty awesome. All right. Well, speaking about not loving it,
but you know what? We have to touch on the fact that Dawn kind of like in his like uprightness and his kind of ego, being on point, being this on point man, he checks Little Richard.
Yeah.
But Little Richard kind of has more experience in the entertainment world, so he tells him like, hey, Little Richard, hey, Rich, you looking sloppy. And he's like, nobody starts out sloppy.
Right.
Don't forget that. And that was deep.
Yeah, it was. And then also we got to see where we get to see in this world, because we have journalists who are ready to write up a story. Dawn kind of had to save Little Richard again. We had to tell the girl from right on, like, don't print this story. Whatever about Little Richard, you ain't got to say.
Can you imagine if that was today? That would.
Oh my God, it would have been on the shade room.
She would have been
She
in
would've
the
been like-
house. She would have posted it at
Right.
the house.
It would have been on Facebook Live, IG
Already.
Live.
Yes.
Little Richard would have been on the Shade Room, Gossip in the City, Famous,
Yep.
TMZ.
Baby girl was slick though. Baby girl was slick.
She knew. But I
Hold that in your back pocket. But then,
Yeah.
like, think like around that time, it's also like you didn't have the access to those people like you do now, so you don't want to burn that relationship right now.
Right.
So you tell me to hold it, I gotta hold
Right.
it.
And listen, and I think Dawn knew what he was doing, because Baby Girl knew that Soul Train is sitting on a gold mine, because Soul Train is now one of the most popular shows. Dawn is getting death threats, and they say when you get death threats, you definitely made it.
Yeah.
Dick Clark wants to sit down with Dawn Cornelius. Now, throughout this show, what are we on, episode maybe 6?
Think so.
We have been hearing Dick Clark's name, and though now we know who Dick Clark is. Rest in peace to Dick Clark. He is the legend who did American Bandstand, Dick Clark show. Dick Clark kind of started the Dick, kind of what America Soul
New
Train
Year's
was.
Eve, yeah.
New Year's Eve. Shout out to
He
Dick
had
Clark.
a huge thing.
Huge
yeah.
in television.
So we've been
and
hearing his
communications.
name because people have been comparing Dawn to Dick Clark in American Bandstand, and all of a sudden Dick Clark wants to now sit down with Dawn Cornelius.
Yeah.
And Dawn Cornelius sits down with Dick Clark, and Dick Clark says, I want to make you an offer. I want to buy Soul Train for $5 million. Let me take it. He says partner, but he's saying, I'm going to buy it from you.
Right.
And Dawn says, no.
Dawn said this is for the sharecroppers, honey.
Dawn said, and this is what
I had
this is
tears
what
in my eyes.
I love about, and anyone can say anything about Dawn Cornelius, but what I love about him, like I said, we didn't know this, but he was leaving this for us. He said, I cannot do this because this is for those dancers.
Yes.
This is for those cooks. These are for the people on set. These are for them sharecroppers. This is for
Yes.
black people.
Yes.
And Dawn knew if he sold this, and like his partner said, selling out, they were going to rip Soul Train apart, and they were going to make an American, rip the soul out of it, make an American Bandstand #2, and it was going to be something that Dawn worked so hard for. How did you guys feel about that? And if you were Dawn, would you have given up and said, sure, I'll take that $5 million?
No.
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 In that moment, I would like to think that I would have said no.
That was his baby.
Yeah.
And he was smart enough to know he was tenacious. He stood for something, so he didn't fall for the bullshit.
was
And that's what
so
I'm talking
smart.
about. And I don't mean to be on my high horse, but I'm just so inspired right now because he stuck to his guns, and that's what we need to do, because we need more ownership. We need less selling out. We need less taking the check for the quick out. We need to have the copyright in our hands. You know what I'm saying? Just boss move, Dawn.
Yeah. Pretty amazing. But I do think there are some people in those situations who look at that and they say, man, Dick Clark, this is huge. $5 million, this is huge. So it just shows you the type of person that Dawn was, who Dawn said to himself, this is for black people. I cannot, because listen, it's easy for someone to come with $5 million in the 1972 and give me a not me, in the 1970s and 1972, and offer you $5 million to take your show, and it's off your hands because Dawn is stressed out.
Yeah.
He's going through a lot, and it's easy for you to be like, you know what, you take it. Yeah. Because that's what happens in real life. Like people write shows, they do movies, and
I was
people
gonna
sell
say,
it.
like, I'm not mad at the people who do so, because everybody isn't equipped with the the vision that Dawn had. Sometimes your purpose is to get it to a certain point. You could take that $5 million and do a lot to help a lot of people with, if your goal is to help people. But it's all on what your vision is.
It is.
Some
And
people
he
have
could
a
handle
goal
it.
to make the $5 million, to take that $5 million and do something else with it.
And also, I do think it's commendable because I think it's before, I don't know if I'm correct, so correct me if I'm wrong. Before Dawn Cornelius passed away, Soul Train was bought by BET, I believe. Or is it, I don't know if it's after or before. I think there was a deal with BET because BET took over the Soul Train Awards. So it could have been a thing where Dawn looked at it like, I'm now at this point in the 2000s and this is my people. BET is me. And I'm going to give it to someone who I know who can take care of it. Because that's, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong.
Although BET.
Now, That's a whole nother story.
Maybe we
But you know what I'm saying? Like I think in his mind, instead of selling it to a Dick Clark in 1970, I think 30,
it's like
40
he's
years
still
down the
keeping
line,
it in the family.
he's still keeping it in the family where BET came to him and said, because Soul Train was on UPN, I think, at the time of the WB, and I think the Soul Train Awards were fizzing out. And I think BET came at the point and was like, we'll take it. We'll put it on our network. This is us. Yeah. Bob Johnson, Deborah Lee, I think came, maybe, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think maybe
you're
Dawn.
right, because I do remember it kind of the awards like phasing out. And then they came back with this, this resurgence, like, oh, okay, yeah. And then they were hot again. So I think that is what happened.
It's one of those like for us, by us, FUBU.
And we also don't know, like, because we know that his life came to an end early. We don't know, like, we'll find out more and more what those pressures were like, but we don't know what was surrounding the circumstances and why he felt that pressure to want to say, okay, I've had enough. So maybe it may have had something, I don't know. I don't even want to say something that's kind of heavy, but we don't know the type of pressure he was feeling towards the end of the ride.
Especially older in life, because Dawn was older. I know Dawn on the show, they expressed that he suffered from depression. And, there's a lot, him and his first wife are divorced. He had another wife and kids. So, I know depression is really big, and I hope that they touch on it because we open with Dawn taking his life. But I do think this is a blessing, especially for the audience, because not only do we get a show about a man, a proud black man who gifted us with something so great, but we are going to learn the pressures that Dawn had to go through, because Dawn took his life and he suffered from depression. And that's something in the black community that we didn't, now we are now, but that's something that in the black, especially black men, we didn't really touch up on in this community. So I am, I know we talked to our guest last week about Don Cornelius Jr., who's the executive producer on the show, and them being so candid and letting us into their dad's life. It's a blessing, and I think I'm grateful as an audience member to sit back and be like, wow, like we get to see Don's life, and he gifted us with this baby by telling Dick Clark,
no,
fam, I'm good.
Who knows what it would have been?
I know. Right. Soul Train may not even exist anymore. It probably would have. It wouldn't even be Soul Train.
Yeah, I don't think it would have lasted.
Thank you, Don Cornelius. Thank you. We get to cap off the show a little bit with baby girl Simone. She does an amazing performance by one of my favorite songs, "If I Was Your Woman." I believe it's by Gladys Knight and redone by Miss Alicia Keys. Gave me the chills. And a young man in the audience, who I believe is a friend of hers or someone she knows, he says, "You know what? You should really think about doing off-Broadway in New York City. I know somebody." And we kind of leave it like that. And we can kind of like go into predictions kind of leading into there.
She was very beautiful in that moment, and she sounded amazing.
I know.
And I'm excited to see what's going to happen, because I'm like, okay, how does this, what is this, where is this going? Who is she? Like, where's this going? Who is Simone? She's such a star.
I love her. I think she's so talented, but I want her to slow down a little bit.
Yeah.
Because she is a little too overzealous to get these things, because I'm glad, like, the guy was like, I'm glad he wasn't a sleaze.
He was.
He's like, oh, let me call you a cab, because she was drunk, and she was kind of like on him, like, oh, do you think I can do?
And she's not 21.
Not 21. Not able to really handle her liquor yet. So I just kind of want her to slow down, because that world, entertainment world, is all of that. Those drugs, that alcohol, all of it. So if you go in too soon.
And we see that JT isn't there. But because we know JT's life, I think it allows Simone to be empathetic in that moment. Like, you know what? He has a lot to deal with. So even though I think she handled her disappointment well, but it could also have been why she had the drinks and was flirting with the guy.
Yeah, because she was looking for him, and she sang the song "If I Was Your Woman." I love that song. Like,
and I think she was more so maybe just a little bit sad that he couldn't make it. Not upset or angry. She, like you said, she was empathizing with him, but at the same time, just like, but I wish you could have been here.
Right. Because I think that's gonna. And then we're gonna see next week that the kids are gonna start to do this. I think it's a Soul Train tour for the dancers, because Dawn tells Tessa, like, girl, you can't quit now. We got the tour coming up. What are you doing? So the kids are going to go on that tour. So we're going to see young Simone and Kendall go on that tour. So that's going to be interesting to see, because it can be one of those things where though JT has something really wrong going on in his life and he also wants to be a singer and a dancer, you have Simone who's kind of escalating and going up. And, it's one of those things where it's like, do I leave you behind? I don't want to, but I also have dreams too. So
forgive me. I have a question. So Simone's a dancer as well on Soul Train? Okay.
Yeah. So she's a dancer, and Soul was hating Soul.
Flo.
Flo just be hating on everybody.
Not so. I'm looking at the word. So Flo was hating on her at the beginning. So they're going on the tour next week.
We're gonna find out that something is going on in Flo's life.
Yeah.
And that's why she's so bitter.
It's gotta be.
We're gonna find out.
But as I always say, it's never you. It's that person and their insecurities. But yes, what an amazing show. Carmen was saying as we were watching these shows are really emotional, and I'm really shocked at BET. I'm not gonna lie. This is a really good show, good writing,
good production, everything.
Everything's really good, and we do get a little emotional, get a little teary-eyed.
I was like, why does this make me cry every time?
And I will say they had me at the trailers, which I was surprised because sometimes I'm no shade, but sometimes some of their shows you'll be like, okay, maybe.
Right.
But these trailers, I was like, I'm watching, and then the show has not disappointed. It has been everything that I thought it would be from those trailers. So I'm excited to keep this going. I'm here root for season 2. Y'all make watch this show, and then come back and watch us on the after show. But watch it so that this gets a season 2 because I definitely think it'll be dope.
Really dope show. Yeah. Really awesome. All right, kids, let's go into the segment. Our soul spotlight. Yes. It's Carmen had it right. It's our soul spotlight segment. It's a lot of S's. American Soul Train Soul Spotlight segment. All right, kids. So this is a segment where we like to give you guys and highlight someone who's been on Soul Train, and it looks like this Soul Spotlight segment is on James Brown himself, and Anisha has like a little bit of history of this performance.
Yeah, so with this performance, we have James Brown here performing, and he actually busted through those hot pants of his and those splits that he breaks down and doing and everything. Let's see, but Ruthly Drill with matching his, the band also always had like matching outfits. That was the thing about the guys back then, like they dressed to the T's.
That.
You know what I mean? And like
Sexy.
Everybody was like coordinated. You gotta coordinate. So that was just the thing. Like he just danced his butt off and out, literally. You know,
the father of soul right there.
Yes. Like this is someone Michael Jackson looked up to. This is somebody Prince looked up to. This is someone everyone looked up to, and James Brown is a legend, the godfather of soul.
Yes.
And I just loved his outfit, and he's wearing no shirt and his hair. And if you guys haven't seen the movie that Chadwick Boseman plays, James Brown,
gosh,
honey,
you
have to see that.
I thought it was him. It was like sometimes I like forgot that this is an actor. He did an amazing job.
A great job.
Yes. Thank you, Lanisha, for all Soul Spotlight. I'm always messing up the name. Why do I do that? It's a lot of S's. Soul, Spotlight, American Soul, all that good stuff. All right, guys. Well, we hope that you guys liked this episode. This was a really good one. We're really excited for next week. Yeah. Should we do predictions?
A little bit, I guess.
Let's do a little bit of predictions. Let's do predictions. Why not?
Now, your AfterBuzz
TV prediction. We can do something different. We can predict like we did the first episode. Who would you like to see be on the next show? Like, which celebrity would you like to see show up?
I want to see James Brown.
James Brown.
That's what I want to see.
I know this probably isn't happening and I'm dreaming, but I want to see Chris Brown be somebody. I don't even know who
he could be. He could be
Michael Jackson.
He could be Michael.
Listen, Michael from the Jackson 5 all the way to Michael. Michael has been on Soul Train a million times.
Listen.
BT.
He can be like off the wall era Mike.
Because 70s, this is when Mike had the afro and he was going into the Wiz. And this is when he was leaving the Brothers, and this is like off the wall.
Yeah, like off the wall. He can be off the wall Mike.
Come on, BT. I would like to see that.
I want to see Chris Brown.
I want to see, what singer do I want to see? I think Tina Turner. I don't know if that already came up yet. I Can Tina is supposed to come on, so that's what I want to see. I Can Tina perform. Rolling.
Oh. What if Chris Brown and Beyonce?
Don't you do that to him.
I was like, we thought you were saying. Wait, I
was, but I had forgot. I'm sorry, brain fart. Because I was like, Ike and Tina is Chris Brown and Beyonce.
You know,
but I'm sorry. I was thinking
that's okay. But we just we was like, don't you do it.
We're having a great cultural chill.
Chris might not take that. Wrong.
He's like, nah.
We gonna say it to Michael for him. We
Yeah.
not gonna, we ain't gonna take that, but
Sorry.
that's
Damn it.
We here for everybody.
Yeah.
No, but that's I can see that. Like I can see
Yeah.
him because you know Beyonce always paid her homage and
Oh,
tribute to the Queen, and Chris can play some Ike Turner, so then we can. All right, kids, we being crazy.
Yeah,
We being
that's not
silly.
mean it like that.
Before we get out of here, tell the peeps where they can find you guys at.
I am Carmen, and you guys can find me on Instagram and Twitter at king_Carm_. And you can find me filling in here sometimes
Yes.
too. And you can find us doing Black Ink Creek Chicago and New York right here on AfterBuzz TV.
Yes. Hey guys, I'm El Marie, and you guys can find me on Instagram and on Twitter at El Marie TV.
Yes, guys, and I'm Nakia Monet. You can find me on all social media at Kiki Boom Boom. Make sure you guys subscribe to AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. We are now on Spotify. Good night. Apparently, I don't know how to talk when it comes to the S's. We are now on Spotify and iTunes and now SoundCloud. Thank you guys so much, and we'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Good night,
It's late.
guys.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.